ecosystem. We, as the Ghana EdTech Alliance, will be unpacking the topic under this very broad and exciting theme, from innovation to impact, scaling homegrown EdTech solutions for inclusive learning in Africa. I hear we are also live virtually on YouTube as well. If you are on that bit, kindly give us a thumbs up. Let us know you are here. If you're also following us and watching this live on Zoom, please give us a thumbs up. We're excited to have all of you here. I know one thing is for sure, that's Ghana is a developing country, Africa is a developing continent, and it's taking all of us coming together to put our hands to the wheel and ensure that our education system is robust enough and puts us in a position where we churn out leaders who are going to be capable, competent, empathetic, patriotic, and are looking to challenge the status quo as we know it. Help me with a round of applause as I mention the exciting panelists I'm going to have today to unpack this topic. Remember the topic that we are going to be unpacking today is from innovation to impact, scaling homegrown EdTech solutions for inclusive learning in Africa. I'm going to begin. So when I do mention the panelists, please do well to give them a warm welcome, virtual warm welcomes. We love the virtual claps. So with me here today is Joanna Kwame. She is with Jessie AI. I'm sure when we get to her, she would unpack what Jessie AI is and the impactful work that is doing in the space. So can I see some virtual claps? Really do appreciate the claps. Okay, good stuff. And we have Senyo Mauli Jiage. He is with QNO. QNO is a really exciting EdTech solution. I'm sure when we come to him as well, he's going to unpack the exciting stuff that they're doing in the space. They are penetrating different African countries, and I'm sure you get to hear that. And then lastly on the panel, we have Richard Dodo. He is with Meta School AI, another really exciting EdTech solution that is making waves across Ghana and in a few African countries as well. So if you don't know, well, now you know. You've heard about Jessie AI, you've heard about QNO, you've heard about Meta School AI, and I've mentioned the leads that are going to be having this conversation. Please do well to follow each of them across all platforms, especially on LinkedIn. Follow Joanna, follow Senyo, and then follow Richard as well. And then follow the company's pages as well. We have Jessie AI, we have QNO, and then we have Meta School AI. Hello, panelists. Sorry. I'm happy to have all of you here. Let's do a quick sound check. Are you guys good? Ready to have the conversation?
Yep.
Amazing stuff. Wonderful. Good stuff. Happy to have all of you here as well. Joanna, can you hear me? Richard, can you hear me?
Happy to be here, Kwame. And
fantastic. Fantastic. Joanna, you can hear me as well?
Yes, I can hear you. Happy to be here.
Awesome stuff. Right. Let me start with you since you are the lady amongst the guys, Joanna. Tell us a little bit about Jessie AI and the pertinent problem that it's solving.
All right. Hi. So Jessie AI, I'd like for everyone to think about it as the Ghanaian teacher and learner's assistant. Essentially, whatever it is that we are expecting of the Ghanaian learner and the Ghanaian teacher to do, Jessie AI carries the manual, the recurring manual administrative task of them, especially the teacher, so that the teacher can focus on weightier matters such as the time and energy needed to do physical, in-person classroom engagement, and then even remedials where necessary. For the learner, Jessie AI is their learning buddy. All of the differentiation they need that isn't happening in the classroom due to infrastructural and class size gaps, they are getting it on Jessie AI. So to the teacher, Jessie AI is their teaching assistant, and to the learner, Jessie AI is their learning paddy. Just AI even serves school leaders or school administrators, or let's just say heads of schools as well. At their level, they also get to see all of their teachers and learners onboarded onto the platform and progress that is being made. Essentially, insights into teaching and learning in their institution. Thank you.
Right, amazing stuff. I think one of the things I want to highlight is the contextualization, right? So we know in Ghana, Paddy is somebody who is your friend, right? Your close friend. And I like that you use that for the learner side, and then for the teacher side is an assistant to the teacher. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much, Joanna. Let me come to you, Senor. Tell us a little bit about QNO. I know you have a number of products. I mean, you're one of the few ones that has quite a number of products under their belts. Tell us the problem that you're solving in the education space.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Really excited to be on this panel today. I think, as you said, we have several products, so that means we're also solving several problems as well. But let me just get into what QNO is. So QNO is, or we started off as a data-driven EdTech company. We see ourselves building an AI-powered educational infrastructure that is connecting teaching and learning, assessments, marking, and then lastly, literacy. So I think we've all passed through the period of that stress where we have to prepare for a major examination like your BEC, your WASI, or SAT, all these things, and you want to really do well. So we saw how the results have been going over the last few years, and especially last year as well, where there were conversations around students failing, mathematics, 51% failure level. So our QNO exams platform is typically built to help students prepare for any final exam and excel extremely well. So it's AI powered. It creates exams in the same form as how they're going to write it in the exam hall. So for a BEC, you're looking at 40 objective questions. You're looking at subjective as well. So a student can take that, submit it, and then the AI marks instantly. Then we have our QNO Mark, which is an AI-powered marking tool that is supposed to give teachers back time. Marking or scoring, it's one of the major administrative tasks that takes away a lot of time from teachers. So we ended up building this specific tool to help them and then ease their time, going forward. So those are two of the major products I just wanted to touch on. But then QNO basically is a data-driven EdTech company using AI to solve some of education's major challenges.
Right. Right, really smoothly with the overarching theme today. Good stuff, really, really exciting. And so anybody interested, please do reach out. There's Jesse AI, there's QNO. Let me come to Meta School AI. Richard, over to you. What problem are you solving in the education space?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. So Meta School AI is Ghana's first fully accredited online school. So we are just like a traditional school. The only difference is that we are fully online. So, and the main barriers that we are solving within the Ghanaian educational system is we are bridging the gap in the double track system where students go to school, and for between 3 to 4 months, they have no access to their classroom, no access to teachers. We bridge that gap by making sure that the students can continue learning, making sure that they have the classroom quality education. Okay, see my role teacher in front of me. I'm able to connect to my teacher. Learning continues despite the student has no direct access to their classroom, to their teachers or their colleagues. So that's the major gap that we are bridging. We've been growing very, very fast. And we have some amazing announcement that we'll be making on this course. So watch out for Metaschool AI.
Amazing stuff. I am actually itching to hear what this good news is about. But thank you guys so much for sharing. I'm happy to have all of you here. For all of us listening, remember the topic we are unpacking today is from innovation to impact, scaling homegrown EdTech solutions for inclusive learning in Africa. We are live on YouTube, so do well to check us out on YouTube. Feel free to put in your comments, your questions. If you're on the Zoom call as well, please feel free to put in the questions as always. If there are comments, if you want to give them funds as well because of the amazing stuff they're doing in the space, please feel free to do that. They're a group that I'm really excited about, and this is just a few of the exciting tech solutions. Right, let's get into it. So let me start with you, Richard. Right, so each of you pretty much started solving a real education problem, right? So when I hear you, for example, with Meta School AI, you said it's the virtual classroom. We some few years ago, now COVID sounds so far away, but it's just some few years ago, that situation was real, right? So looking back, what problem do you think you were solving in the beginning, and what problem are you actually solving today? If you could highlight what has changed, I mean, that's, I think, will be good for us.
Well, okay, so not much has changed since we started. Since when we started, we were only building. I just decided to build a platform for my niece to learn because she was struggling in maths and just wanting to make sure that she has access to the best of teachers. So that was just the initial plan. So we got some few videos, and the videos took we got some very good traction, and just decided to dive deep into the whole space. And since then, the whole vision then was just to make the content like a library where students can just go and have access to the learning content. But since then, we've been able to grow into a full licensed school, accredited school. So this is a very major milestone for us.
So you started off, for you it's been, you were very clear in your minds as to what the problem was. You came up with the solution that spoke to it, and then it's been lift off from then on.
Yeah. And the interesting thing too is that, okay, despite we started with just a library of content, then the double track challenge also came in. You realize that, oh, my solution is a very good barrier for this.
Yeah.
'Cause my solution, we already have access to the full curriculum, digitalized in video, and we could now build the technology to make sure that, okay, when the student is home, the teacher can assign them video lessons, reading lessons, different types of lessons they can complete, submit the assignments, the teacher is able to review. They still have the classroom connection, just that everything is fully digitalized. Yes, that's how we've been able to grow from when we started to currently now.
Right. I mean, that's actually a big conversation, right? So I recently saw a study that was talking about the slight differences between what happens in person when it comes to education and then virtual, right? And I mean, within our context, there were some concerns that were raised with exploring virtual because of some of the issues that we have, i.e., electricity. Then there's the data. Then there's the interaction, right? So I see you hitting at the fact that it's such that the students, all things being equal, would have the best of interactions virtually.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic stuff. Let me come to you, Senor. I mean, throwing the same question to you as well. Was it the same for you as well, right? Where, just like with Meta School AI, you identified the problem. Did anything change along the way? Beginning from where you are where you started from, sorry, to where you are now.
Yeah, I think we've evolved quite a bit. Maybe quite a bit is an understatement. I think we've evolved quite a lot.
Right.
So I think initially when we kicked off building Kuno, the main aim was providing let's say quality educational resources in the form of content.
Mm.
So we wanted to provide on-demand content, text, uh, yeah, I mean, text, articles, multimedia type things, and then some form of quizzes. But I think over the course of time, our thoughts change, especially because we collect a lot of data and how the students were interacting with the type of information or the type of content we're putting out. So we saw that there was less interaction with some of the content we're putting out, maybe because it was a bit static.
Mhm.
So a lot of them were going towards, let's say, the quizzes, the assessment type things, where that really piqued their interest. So we started looking at the features we had within the overall Kuno platform, and then we started breaking those features into individual products. And that's where we now align. Usually people ask us, do we ever see a scenario where we bring all our products back together and make it one, consolidated, product again?
Mhm.
I tell them anytime I'm not too sure right now. It's just because, you have different demographics and then what the product is aligned for. So as I said, so for teachers, we have the Kuno Tutor, we have the Kuno Mark. And we also feel that because we are very interested in scaling beyond our borders, we don't want to take a holistic approach into entering, let's say, another market that we're in, Cote
Yeah.
d'Ivoire. We're not sending the whole package at the same time. So we're looking at sending one package or sending one product at a time, seeing how that relates to the people there, how we localize that product there, and
Mhm.
then we focus on, bringing along other things. So I think that has helped us from the beginning where we're like, let's build a whole big thing and then, have students come and access anything that they want into now specializing and then looking at the type of market we want to go to and what products serve that market the best. So yes, we have changed quite a lot as I think my co-founders and then my team would say.
Right, right. Amazing. And I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm hearing you and I'm like, yeah, this obviously, right? So there are many, many problems that cut across from Ghana all the way through to many other African countries. And I'm excited to be getting into Francophone Africa as well.
Yeah, thank
Because
you.
to be I don't want to use the word ignored, but yeah, I mean the opportunity with technology is there, so we might
Yeah,
as well. Now with AI, we're able to the whole conversation around the language barrier seems to be lessened now. Um,
exactly.
Point I really do appreciate is the attention to data, right?
Yeah.
Data and then contextualization. So having products that can speak to different groups of people. I don't even want to say Ghana anymore because
Mm,
it's an Africa-wide conversation.
exactly.
Really exciting stuff. Good stuff. Joanna, let me come to you. Any thoughts there? Jesse AI, you guys changed from when you started?
Hi. I wouldn't say we have changed so much from when we started. I would only say we have improved coverage or expanded the idea or our target users. There is this UNICEF, yes. UNICEF has this report out there on time to teach, and some of what it reports is that administrative workload has been linked to teacher absenteeism
Mm,
in some kind of way. And before Jesse AI began, it was a lot of qualitative conversations with teachers just to, understand their pain points because in every industry, in every sector, there are pain points. And we realize that administrative tasks, including lesson planning and like Kino says, assessment is one of their biggest pain points because I teach a class of, let's say, 50 students, and I have to mark all of them all the time, get back to them. And especially our basic school teachers, let's say a class 5 teacher handling 5 subjects. I have to teach all these within the week. I'm expected to create learner plans for all, assessment for all, and that's quite a task. So then we're in the era of AI as well. How can we leverage AI to take some of these admin tasks or load off them so then they are saved time and energy which they can spend on educational tasks that AI cannot do, such as being in the class and engaging the learners or conducting research to enrich their content delivery in class. I beg your pardon. So yes, that was how we began, and then as usual, prototype, test, learn, come back, build your MVP. Then as time went on, we decided, okay, we could add learners as well. Learners also have needs. Once there is large teacher to learner ratio, then differentiation isn't occurring in the class. How can we leverage AI to make up for this deficiency that is occurring in our classrooms? So then, yes, just AI came. So we started with teachers, all right, but between when we started and now, we have expanded to cover learners as well. Yes, so that's where we are now. Started with teachers, but now we cover both teacher, learner, and even school administration.
Right,
Thanks.
right. Amazing stuff. And it's really exciting, you know. I'm sure for the many listeners who have joined in and are listening, I'm sure you are hearing a lot of things that are very relatable, right? So there's the whole conversation around supporting teachers, right? So teachers are they're the main stars in the classroom. They're the ones pretty much leading the whole education charge, and having tools that assist them in a way that's, you know, like with the Kuno and then Jesse AI, Senyo and Joanna, how you articulated the fact that it's a main concern, and so having tools available that can reduce that administrative load is one that is, I'm sure, is very welcome. Good stuff, really good stuff. Senyo, let me come to you. I think this question will sit right in your alleyway. So you know, you're one of the very few EdTech, you know, local EdTech startups that are exploring different countries across the continents. Africa we like to describe Africa as, you know, one market. Well, but I mean, I'm sure we can have a whole conversation around that. But what has been your hardest lesson about scaling a homegrown EdTech solution across? So you're moving into Cote d'Ivoire, for example. Are there some lessons in there that you want to share with people who might potentially want to be building, and even for the panelists on board as well, if in case they are considering exploring other African countries? So the differences in region, in schools, in countries, and what sort of advice would you give to founders who are trying to build that one solution that is supposed to speak to every context?
I think the main thing you would always have to consider is localization. You know, when you begin building something, I mean, you're building from your own context, your own country first. You try and understand what that country is offering in terms of syllabus, the language that
Yeah.
you know, the content is taught in, and all these things. Eventually, when you consider scaling and trying to understand another market, I think so. So our move into Cote d'Ivoire is just a very strategic one, in the sense that we are very keen on Francophone West Africa. Just from us doing the research and looking at the options available to us. I mean, if you look at that segment, we have about 8, 9 Francophone countries in West Africa itself, and a lot of them are very similar in culture. So you can't just stand up and, you know, go to that country or another country, especially we being Anglophone and then moving into a Francophone country, and then just assume that you can send your English-based, you know, EdTech solution and then they'll latch on. So I would put it in different ways, and hopefully I don't overtalk. But then this is just to properly explain how we went about it, or you know, how we went about it, and then how we understood the lessons we got, and then how we are applying those lessons into properly, you know, integrating into the system. So naturally, the first thing is, as we are sending products, so we send 2 products there. the CUNO exams. We looked at what their national exams are like. So they have something similar to the BEC. They also have something similar to the WASI as well. So you have to understand the type of subjects that they're doing, that they write within this context, and then work around that in the sense that what are the past questions looking like? Science, is it in French, is mathematics, so you have to localize your product. With AI, it becomes a bit easier, but then there's still some things that you'd have to correct, because it's like the AI is giving a robotic version, but then you have to give a version that students who are going to use the product actually understand, and then it feels relatable to them. So we had to really, roll up our sleeves and then try and get that right in terms of the content. Then the next thing we had to do was look at, where the whole culture of it, the culture of how people are learning there. Are they very paper-based? Are they open to things like, digital tools? And they are. So you would have to really focus on bringing it, not really replacing what they're doing, as, it's the same way within the Ghanaian context. We're not necessarily saying, hey, take my product and then stop going to school, or stop using your textbooks or whatever. But then we're coming on as like a complimentary service. So in that sense, you have to really know what the market is, where the market is, and then how do you localize your products to ensure that when you're entering this new market, you align with what they have. The syllabus, is it the same thing? Is the curriculum the same thing? Is the language right? Is it relatable to them? Pricing as well. You get it. So one thing we've also noticed is that they really want to invest in education, So that sort of acceptance of your product is really there in that sense that it's new, but then it also speaks to the problems or the challenges that we have. So we really want to invest in what you're bringing. So just learning on the culture of things that people actually really want to put in a lot of money into improving their wards or their children or their students' academic performance, then having your products aligned with that is perfect. So localization, very important. And then understanding the culture, the market is also important. As I said, we also sent a second product there, which is our AI-powered literacy tool. And on the flip side, a lot of the schools or a lot of the heads also want to understand, also want to learn English as well, because they also feel that it opens them up for different opportunities, especially when they're done with university. So let's say I want to become a remote worker, or I want to have options into coming into Ghana, uh, applying for a job, or maybe my company in Abidjan, for example, has an opening in Ghana. So English is something that would need, and not just English in the sense that I'm learning this word, I'm learning that word. Our AI literacy tool called it CUNO Storytime is really around reading. You get it? So how to read English, and then the comprehension side of it. So once we pitched it to a specific school, I remember the headmistress telling us, or the principal telling us, that they actually have English clubs within the school. And they have an English, I think he's assistant headmaster, and he learns English, and he takes them through at the end of, I think they have it like 2, 3 times a week. And then they're basically just learning English, So they have the clubs within, and they want to expand it within the school. And then you get that sort of buy-in where students, decision makers also want to learn English as well. So we went in with localization, but then we also pitched them on this other product, and they saw the value in that as well. So it's very important, giving your target market the things that they want. And if you're exploring into other markets, that is not the same in terms of it being Anglophone like how Ghanaian market is. You have to really learn and then localize to that context as well. So yeah, that's our experience as an EdTech company going beyond our borders.
Right. Really, really interesting insights there. Let's put you on pause for now. Let me go to Joanna. Joanna, could you tell us what are some of the lessons you learned trying to scale Jesse AI, even in Ghana alone?
Yes, hi. Was nice listening to Kino on their
Yeah.
scaling to another Francophone African country. And yes, Jesse, for us, we have been scaling within Ghana. I want to call it intra-scaling, so to speak. And the biggest lesson so far has been that even within the same country, you should never expect the same level of adoption.
Right.
All of your features have different contexts within which they will matter the most. It's the same Ghana, but even in the same district, school ABC would find feature A more useful, especially because of the existing infrastructure. And then school XYZ will find your other infrastructure only useful to them. So yes, the biggest lesson I would say is during intra-scaling, like I'm calling it, you do not expect the same level of adoption across because we'll go to school A and maybe it's a private school whose teachers are mostly, should we say, senior high school graduates or even not so formally trained teachers. So their adoption level versus you go to a private school that has highly trained teachers and employed, how they react to your technology, again, versus even our public schools,
Yeah.
same teachers, highly trained, how they react to your technology, versus a private school that has a well-equipped IT lab. They can adopt feature A for teachers, feature B for learners, feature C for school admin. Then you go to a different school and it's just a teacher feature that can be adopted because they have phones and laptops or
Yeah.
tablets. So again, my biggest lesson would be just have it at the back of your mind that all of your features will not be equally adopted even within the same district, the
Mm.
same region, and the same country.
Mm.
Yes.
I mean, really good insights. Trust me. um, Richard, let me come to you. You. I mean, I've followed your work for a very long time. Your solution is fantastic. It's doing some amazing stuff in the space. Any lessons? Any lessons? What are some of the things that you say? Had I known, I probably started with that. Yeah, in terms of you trying to scale your solution.
Wow, coming. I so much agree with what Joanna and Senor said.
Yeah.
We've been to communities to talk about Meta School AI.
Hmm?
We have all our videos digitalized. You can watch. So we take out our phone to do a demo, and you are will holding on for 2 minutes, and the video is not playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that should tell you the actual challenges on the ground. And because of such problems, we have to come back, rethink about our solution. You go to certain communities, you talk about Meta School AI, or download it, and we don't have smartphones. This is the phone I have. How do I use your solution? And you realize that, oh, if the person doesn't have a smartphone, the person's literally cut out from your solution. And because of that, we've come up with a new solution called our AI tutor. So right now, you don't need a smartphone to use our
Hmm.
AI. It's just with a USSD code, star 9281000. You can just have access to our AI tutor. So you can solve all the past questions, everything on USSD. You want to
Please
talk to
pause,
AI
pause. Say it slowly. Say it slowly. It's
without
amazing.
internet connectivity, and first AI platform made available to the mass without internet connectivity. So Metasquare, and this is we scaling internally, but using a whole different platform.
Hmm.
Externally, currently we are incorporated in the US, but we've not started full operations there yet. Our next market is Nigeria, and the main reason why we moving from Ghana to Nigeria is because of our data. When we look at our analytics, Ghana is our biggest market, followed by Nigeria, then Liberia. I think because of the curriculum cuts across the Anglophone West African countries. Slight differences, but the major content is almost the same.
Yeah.
So because of that, yeah, but we don't have any plans for Liberia right now. We want to make sure at least operational and we are doing the dealer way because of to make sure structurally the company is stronger. That's the main reason why we are looking at the US markets, and we are getting some very good number of customers over there. The Nigeria, it's very paramount. It's one of our major KPIs to close for this year to make sure that we are fully operational in Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing stuff. Please, guys, you heard it here first, right? A proud member of the Ghana EdTech Alliance in the company of Metaschool AI is telling us that now you're able to pretty much enjoy classes using USSD, right? So a star and then a number and then a hash, right? And you're able to have access to all of that. So be pretty much a virtual tutor. That's really amazing. You heard it here first. This is Metaschool AI. I'm excited about what it is that you're doing. Big ups to you and the team. But I think one thing runs through all of the conversations that we are having is that, and this is my marketing brain, sounding here, that it is very important to understand your customer. So in marketing, there's always I do advertising, right? For those who don't know, I do advertising as well. That's pretty much the field I'm in. And when you're working with any product or service, when you're trying to get it into the markets, there's always thing about pretty much drawing out the customer avatar. That's a bougie way of saying who is your customer, right? What's their name, pretty much their names, right? Where do they live? Their income brackets. What are the things they typically spend on? What are the things that they're exposed to? What are the things that they like? What don't they like? And a company's ability to be able to do that intentional research and then fully understand who their that customer is, puts them in a position where they are able to fit their product or service into the customer's life, so that the friction that comes with buying a product is lessened, right? So that's one insight. I am very happy from Senor to Joanna and then yourself, you've been able to identify and speak to, because one of the things, as with this position that I sit in as the president of the Ghana Tech Alliance, is I tend to have people reach out to me, right? Students across the universities. I tend to have entrepreneurs with a lot of energy who reach out and say, I'm building this solution for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And you ask a few questions and you realize that they're just building because, well, I have this technology. I think it can solve this problem. But will your customer be ready for that solution? Right? These are really pertinent questions as entrepreneurs, especially in the EdTech space, we need to understand, just so you don't just build in the air, or else you will struggle. If I'm sure if I pass the mic on to the three of you, you'd speak to that very, very, very strongly. Let me come to you, Joanna. There's this whole conversation around inclusion, right? One of the things that technology is able to do for us is it reduces that barrier when it comes to inclusion. But inclusion means really pretty much different things to different people. How is your company, Jesse AI, intentionally designing your solution for learners who are usually left behind because of one disability or because they are not in one geography? Conversations around connectivity, language, and affordability. Those questions will go to the two of you as well. But yeah, take a bite at it, Joanna.
Right. So speaking about inclusion, Jesse AI, currently all of the let me call it super inclusion features for PWDs, let's say hearing impaired, visually impaired, those are future plans. However, basically, when we're currently enrolled in the MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship Program. And in one of
Amazing.
the sessions focused on building inclusive product, we interacted with PWDs, and how we went about our product was they already have existing tools
Mhm.
that enable them access other products such as the screen reading, text enlargement, and magnifiers and all that. So those already existing PWD tools enabled them access our product. So when you speak of Jesse AI, how PWDs can access our product, we can speak to the fact that existing and PWD, I beg your pardon, inclusion tools, rather, let me put it that way. Inclusion tools work for us. So yes, that's how such people access our product. And when we speak to inclusion too, I want to enlarge it or extend it beyond just maybe visually impaired learners and all that. I believe that teachers, one of the barriers to access is technological skills, right?
Mm, mm,
Predisposition, understanding, acumen of even teachers who are one of our users. So the fact that we organize AI for teachers training programs for teachers in the first place, even before introducing them to our product, I would argue is an inclusion effort, because right there at the training, you realize how many of our teachers are not so tech savvy
yeah.
or do not have much understanding of AI to even enable them appreciate your product in the first place.
Mm,
So that entry activity by us of first opening the minds of the teachers to AI, we view that as inclusion too. So yes, that's it for just AI.
amazing. Let me come to Richard. How's your product speaking to conversations around inclusion? Because
Yes.
you are going all the way virtual. Like, you don't want physical classrooms at all. But go on.
Yeah. I think I agree with what Joanna said. And inclusion is very, very important. So currently, just as I was saying earlier on, uh, we going the step further to make sure that even the students who do not have access to smartphones,
Mm,
being able to have access to world-class AI technologies on their
mm,
feature phone is a step towards inclusion. We
right.
are bridging a major gap because once the person does not have access to smartphone today, literally you're cut off from any access to AI technology. So more than AI technology, we've been able to extend that to feature phones, which is one of the major milestones we were able to chop this year.
Mm,
That said, all our videos we have how is it even called? Look, it's just escaped me.
don't worry.
So yeah, so all our videos, once you're watching all our videos, you'll get full clear narration over there
Mm,
for all our video content. And we've had certain students who are visually challenged,
mhm,
can't see, and they come onto our portal watching our videos, and we are surprised. Are you able to follow? He say, yes, I'm
mm,
able to follow. Is that but you can see, so I'm listening to what. So you have to make sure that whatever the teacher is saying is very, very clear and they follow the audio. That's why they can see the teacher. They are following whatever the teacher is saying to be able to follow the class. So
yeah.
those are some of the uh, feedback we were able to get from our students to be able to further improve our product. So those are the things we've been able to do in terms of inclusion.
Mm,
Students who also can't talk, like people who are verbally challenged, you can just
right.
type your question. So maybe I'm watching a video on our portal and you have a question, you can just type your question. Okay, I didn't understand how the teacher arrived at this question. Our AI, just because we have already indexed all our video content. So the AI always understands whatever the teacher is teaching. So you can just say, I didn't understand this. And if you are maybe you can't talk, you can just type your question uh, into the AI. The AI will take over from whatever the teacher was teaching and
Yeah.
explain it further. And all this is working right on your device. So that's how far we've been able to go in terms of our AI technology.
Really, really amazing. And it's really good to hear that, the local actors on the ground, the local edtech startups and companies on the ground are paying attention to PWDs. I think that is very, very laudable. Senor, let me come to you as well. Any insights there?
Yeah, so I'd say before, and I think the three EdTech companies are all beneficiaries of the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship,
Yeah.
Being implemented by MEST Africa. I think before we got into the program back in 2024, cohort one, um, we did have an opinion on, how to serve the PWD, segment or sector, but then we didn't really know how to execute that. How do we align our products to do that? I wouldn't say we have solved it, but I think we have some tools that speak to it, but I wouldn't say we're an expert now. But where we do focus a lot on is more access to our products, far and wide reaching. So that we'll be able to do with some key partnerships. We're about to kick off our partnership with the Ghana Library Authority. The Ghana Library Authority currently has 137 physical locations across the country. This is all across the 16 regions, several districts, and other things. So that's so many physical locations for us to integrate our tools. And aside that, they also have 10 mobile libraries as well, which are buses that are fitted with, some devices and then books and other things. So how this works for us is that we are looking at inclusivity where people in peri-urban areas and rural areas still get access to our products. So you can get access through the physical locations or then the 10 mobile libraries. And even within these physical locations, not all of them have, QNO products, you need access to devices.
Mhm.
So not all of them have the pure infrastructure that, we require and to really deliver our products. But then other things are available in the sense that even if, one location doesn't have 5, 10 computers, whatever it is, but they do have one and they have a printing, scanning, photocopying machine. You can print out the exam sheets from the QNO exams. You can still print that out. We can, I mean, we're able to create a PDF of a specific exam, and then you can print that out. And then so the child can use it, and then when they're done, then the QNO mark comes into place where you either run the document through the photocopying, printing, scanning machine, and then upload it into the QNOMark web app and then have the AI mark that, or you can use your phone to scan and then mark. So we are still, even though maybe some locations don't have the full complement of the type of infrastructure we're looking at,
Yeah.
still reach these places. And we had a very interesting call as part of our kickoff, activities today, where a lot of the staff from different libraries across, some calling in from Damango, some calling from, way, way deep into the north, some calling
Mm.
from, Akachi and different places where they asked, so this partnership that we are about to kick off, do we all need laptops or do we all need computers, for example? And I said no. So the other side of it is that do you guys have tables and chairs in your library? They all said yes.
Right.
Perfect. All you now need is there one computer and then printing, photocopying machine? Yes. So all you
Mm.
need is basically have access to internet, go to our platform, print out, the PDF version of one set of exams and
Mhm.
provide to 20, 30 students in your rural area or your peri-urban area, and they can still have access to our products there. When they're done, marking can still go on through our other products. So in terms of inclusivity, not really aligned with the PWD side of things, but still giving access to so many people across the nation via a partnership like this. So reaching, low income families, middle income, or, supporting children who would not have access to things like this are ways we are solving for inclusivity going forward.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. I mean, one of the things I intentionally like to do most often is because I am surrounded by EdTech entrepreneurs and EdTech companies who are doing some amazing stuff in the space. One thing I like to do is just step out of my bubble to just hear the conversations on the ground. And then it makes me appreciate, all of you and the amazing stuff that you're building, right? So typically with these sorts of conversations, you're typically having either people that don't look like us or people, people who we would probably claim as geniuses who are building, these sorts of solutions for some of the problems that we face. I'm really appreciating the depth in trying to understand and understand what the pain points are, and then coming up with solutions to speak to these specific education problems. Some of the problems identified across the board and in Ghana and across the continent has to do with access, equity, and inclusion. And it's so beautiful to see that some real thought is being given to how can we leverage on these elements that we have, these tech that we have, to be able to speak to these problems. And there was a point I highlighted earlier about the fact that Ghana is a developing country. We do need a generation that is really competent. So and for us to be able to do that, it's education that allows us to be able to deliver on that. And also the bit about leveraging on technology in a way that helps the ecosystem, the education ecosystem, put us in a position where we're able to deliver, right, and deliver meaningfully. Really exciting stuff. Really, really exciting stuff. I'm excited to hear a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing, from USSD, virtual tutor to guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. My heart is happy. Let me come to. Let me stay with you, Senor. I think this would be in your lane as well, but I think it's also going to touch on the others as well. For I think a little under 2, 3 years now, AI has been the buzz. Everybody's talking about AI, making it look like it's the panacea to solve, all of the problems that we have, right? But let's get real a bit, right? We know AI is dominating the conversation, but where do we draw the line between using AI because it genuinely improves learning and using AI simply because it's the fashionable thing to do? How do we ensure that we are keeping the focus on learning outcomes, teacher support, ensuring that seamless communication between, education ecosystem actors, rather than this staying in that hype, technological hype?
Yeah, I think this one is a very meaty question. There's a lot of aspects in it when you really sit down and then you think about it. I think all of us on the panel here use AI to some degree in very different you know, contexts or ways where we feel it's ideal for the type of products that we are building. Maybe I'll speak to our own context where AI came. I think everybody was very excited about it. But the main thing was, how do you build a product around or a product using AI that speaks to the challenges we have in Africa, you know? So in that sense, we always looked at it as we've been collecting data for a very long time. We've been trying to analyze student performances. We've been trying to, give feedback where it is necessary, but we don't want, you know, to develop things that will make students lazy or sort of stray away from actually trying to improve their
Yeah.
own understanding of things. So in that sense, around our product, the QNO exams was, yes, you take an exam, you may not score brilliantly, but then where you got wrong, the feedback should be there. And it should be feedback that is teaching you
Mhm.
rather than just spoon feeding you the answer. So then, I think we all on this call have been trying to cut away that, and everybody talks about it in the African context, chew, pour in the past for exams, we're trying to teach, and I think Metaschool AI has a very unique product when it comes to that, the indexing of the videos, asking, things so these are things that are very important where even though you're using very interesting products, you still have to ensure that the child is learning so that it's not learning to pass an exam, but it's learning to improve their understanding of several concepts, to improve the way that they understand and can apply this knowledge that they have. And in the sense for teachers as well, teachers would have so many or so much time to come back and then deliver very brilliant classes or other things when the administrative tasks are taken away from them. Some people would say, maybe why is QNOMAG doing this? Or why is Jesse AI taking all of this, administrative tasks away from teachers? But if you have your teachers fully engaged, fully locked in, where lessons are their primary focus and improving students are their primary focus, then that means the AI is doing the right job. You get it? So using AI, it is useful and it being something nice to have. Just
I think your line is breaking a bit. Hello, Senor, can you hear us? Senor, can you hear us?
I mean, he's paused on my end too, so I think he's having a
Joanna, let me come to you. I mean, this is actually a very pertinent conversation, right? Because it seems as if every room you enter now, we are talking AI, 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 AI. And even your solution is called Jesse AI. But how are we having the conversation in a way where it's speaking to real, the real problems that we have on the ground, rather than, it's being that fashionable thing that everybody needs to have?
Right. It seems Senor is back. Is he back?
I don't think
David
he's.
would like to complete. He is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
sorry.
Oh,
To conclude his
okay.
conclusion.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Yes,
just
we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I think I
Can you go
dropped off
ahead?
for a bit. Yeah, so I was about wrapping up. So I was just saying that
Yes,
at
yes.
least, using AI to improve, in the sense that it's improving how the processes work within. Am I audible? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
So
Can you go ahead?
so using it where it's right for the process, not just cutting, corners, So a small example was we engaged a few students when we are doing a demo, and then we asked them how are they using AI. They're like, oh, to solve my homework, things like that. You get it. And then you ask the teachers how are they performing at the end of exams or things, and then there's that disparity there. So, we are trying to integrate our solutions where we are still teaching them, but it's in a meaningful way. And AI is not just a nice to have and then cutting corners.
Right. I like that you said that. It's that it shouldn't be the thing that is nice to have, but a tool in our hands that helps us to address the education problems that we have. Fantastic. Joanna, let me hear from your end as well. I mean, like Senor has alluded to, how do we have the conversation in a way where, even in the storytelling by our EdTech companies, those who are at least leveraging on AI, how are you where, it's not about the AI per se, but it's about the fact that you are leveraging on AI, speaking to real education problems. So we're focusing on quite a number of things here. So we're talking about learning outcomes, for example, right? With you have your solution speaks to both the teacher and then the learner. How are you having those conversations, just so it doesn't, like I mentioned earlier, feel like it's about AI per se? Hello, John, can you hear me?
I think Jonah is dropped.
Oh, okay. Let me come to you, Meta. Richard.
Okay, so when it gets to so at Meta School, well, the way we see AI is that personally, from even just from my eyes, I see it as the greatest step or the greatest advancement in humanity. And today we are hearing AI. In the next 4 or 5 years, all these AI words will just die down because it will be so common that
Yeah.
when you see AI, people are why you say AI because that's the way we live our life. And the way we are seeing it in our tools right now is amazing. Just the solution I was telling you about AI tutor, whereby students in some village who does not have internet connectivity, they have a question, they can just contact our AI tutor by USSD, ask a question, and they have an instant answer. There was no way we could have resolved or given this solution just some 3 or 4 years ago without AI. And when we started our company, the very early stages,
Mm.
so we have the videos, then we have a
Mm.
place that when the students have a question, they have to upload a question. Then a teacher comes to answer the question or another student. So sometimes when they upload the question, it will take about 2, 3 days for
Mm.
another person to come and answer the question. And it was making things very slow. Currently, you just scan a question, instantly I have an answer. The student just asks a
Mm.
question, instantly they have an answer. This is amazing. They watch a video and they don't understand anything. Formerly, I think back in school, I used to go through that problem a lot. I may be watching a tutorial. If I don't understand this concept in the tutorial, I have to go and look for another video to try to explain that concept I didn't understand in the previous tutorial. Today, on our portal, a student is watching a video, they don't understand something, they just ask the AI, how did the teacher arrive at this? Our AI just takes over. This is the greatest step in humanity, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
That's it's so much about how you engineer the AI into the solution.
Mm.
Why am I saying that? We have a lot of AI solution whereby the students will just come and ask you the question, then
Mm.
instantly you give them the answer. The way we build our AI, specifically the AI tutor, is that it doesn't give the student just the answer. So if I ask you, what is covalent bonds? The AI will not just say covalent bonds are bonds, blah, blah, blah. Our AI doesn't do that. It's also, how did you understand it and where did you get this well maybe
Response.
yeah, ask you further probing questions, then the students will ask or answer. So by you realize that by the time the AI would actually answer that question, at the minimum you would have had at least 4 back and forth questions on the question that you
Yeah.
asked the AI. And based on that, we're able to determine something we call the learning outcome. That we're able to say, okay, based on this question that the student asked, there was a 12% learning outcome based on the interaction.
Mm.
There are certain instances whereby people will, a student will ask a question, then you want to, the AI is doing, they say, hey, stop that, just give me the answer.
Right.
It's interesting. You are learning from all this, and our AI will not do that. It will still take you. Okay, yeah, I understand you, but I want to understand so that where you really are to be able to guide you properly.
Yeah.
And these are all guardrails that we have played into our AI solution to be able. So, to me and to Metaschool AI, we see AI as the greatest step in humanity currently.
Mm. Amazing. And I mean, yeah, I like to take it a step further when I say that Ghana is almost 70. Ghana will be 70 next year. I don't know if many of you are aware, but on the 4th of July this year, America turned 250. And we are looking at, the many things that they've achieved between, that period, right? And I'm juxtaposing it to what we are doing here in our country. And my main focus has always been on education. What sort of education are we delivering to the many young people, in our country and on the continent? We definitely do admit that it's education that can help us put us in a position where we build the Ghana that we want, and then we build the Africa that we want. I'm sure many of you are aware of the many outside conversations that are alluding to the fact that EdTech is a distraction. I'm sure many of you have seen it somewhere. But the more conversations I have with people like yourselves, Joanna, Senor, Richard, etc., amongst other people within the space, I realize that Africa, Ghana is a different terrain, right? We have so many issues, and we cannot do away with technology, and in this case, education technology. You mentioned something about guardrails, and I said yes. You are understanding what you are talking about, because in order to churn out a certain type of learner or a certain type of human resource that is going to come out to bring value to the marketplace, the education should be such that it doesn't spoon food. It doesn't feed them just the answers, right? So even if they are going to leverage on technology, it shouldn't be such that what is photosynthesis, then it just delivers. Then it means we are going back to the way we've been doing things, where it's chew, pour, pass, and forget. No, we want you to understand what photosynthesis is, right? We want you to understand what the bonds are. We want you to understand all of these things. So when you go into the marketplace, you have a much deeper understanding of the concepts that the education system requires, just so you'll be in a position to offer meaningful value. And so I'm really grateful that you're touching on all of those very important points. I don't know if Joanna is back. John, are you back? Fantastic.
Yes, I'm back.
Great. I mean, these are some of the realities on the ground as well. That we'll be relying on the internet, and then it will just go off, come back. But thank you for coming back. I want your take on the conversation that we.
Yes. Did I hear Kwame right? Is
Yes.
the mic passed to me?
Yes, the mic has been
Right.
passed.
We're talking about the relevance of AI, whether it's just buzz or whether it's very relevant, right?
Correct. So basically, the
Okay.
conversation is. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, the conversation is around where do we draw the line between using AI to actually improve, for example, learning outcomes, as opposed to just leveraging AI because everybody is talking about AI. A funny example that somebody mentioned to me had to do with the phenomenon of baby hairs. I don't know if you if you remember. It looks like every girl was doing baby hairs. How do we have the conversation in a way that
Okay.
is practical? Go on.
Right. So there's a concept of the golden question, the one golden question for testing the relevance of AI in whatever educational tool we are building. And the question is, if you were to take away the AI component of your product, if you were to take away the AI tech out of your product, will it still solve the problem you are trying to solve? Will users still find it useful or relevant? The answer is no, then you know that you need the AI. If the answer is yes, then that's when you know that, well, it's just icing on the cake. So if QNO talks about ability to give it back to their tool to mark, one will ask yourself, which technology is enabling that? If it is AI, if it is not AI and is a mother technology, then it comes down to icing on the cake. And if Jessie AI is generating learner plans for teachers, we ask ourselves, which technology is enabling that? If Jessie AI is conducting differentiation or having learners learn and giving them instant feedback, we ask ourselves, which technology is enabling that? If it is AI, it's absolutely essential. If it is not, it's icing on the cake. that's all I'll have to say. There's a golden question for checking the relevance of AI in our EdTechs. We ask ourselves if that is it. Argument over. Thanks.
Oof, this is a drop mic moment. Fantastic response. That was really succinct and to the point. Yeah, because I think that's one area, like I mentioned, that a lot of edtech entrepreneurs really need to pay attention to, just so it's not. I don't think we are in a position to be able to just be leveraging on artificial intelligence because everybody is using it, right? We need to really understand our context and then use it to speak to our problems in a way that is meaningful. If you've joined us or you've been following us throughout the conversation, this is the KNUST e-learning celebration week. This is a panel led by organized in conjunction with the e-learning, the KNUST e-learning center. This is the Ghana EdTech Alliance. My name is Kwame Nyatwame. I am the president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance. We've been having a conversation on the topic from innovation to impact, scaling homegrown EdTech solutions for inclusive learning. Our panelists have been Joanna Kwame. She's with Jesse AI. We've been talking to Senyo Jiage. He's with QNO EdTech. And then we also have Richard Dodo of Meta School AI. I'm sure there's lots of things you've picked up. If you're considering building an EdTech solution, I'm sure they've shared really good insights that have made you take some notes. Please do well to, like I mentioned earlier, follow them on LinkedIn. All of their names are on the flyer. Feel free to follow. If there are any questions, I would encourage you to put them in the comment section. Ask all the questions. If there's anything you want to commend them on, feel free to comment them on. If you have some ideas as to how they can improve their product, feel free to put all of that in the chat. We'll be wrapping up our conversation. Let me start with you, Joanna. 2030 is not far. We have about under some 4 years to go. When we do get the chance to sit here again, God willing, right? What must happen between now and then for us to confidently say that African EdTech has come of age? That's number one. And then number two, what role should founders, universities, government, investors, and educators play in making this a reality? 2030 is not far. What are your thoughts?
Okay. First, I want to throw the question back to you to ask if there's a reason we are looking at 2030 specifically. Is there something happening? I don't know. I just want to know. So we are looking at
Well,
2050. And then...
we'll be here. That's one thing I know.
Okay. And then the first question, what should we honest? It's my brain is still processing that. What do we want to do to see our EdTech has come of age? But so I'm gonna skip that and just answer the second one that talks about what policy makers, government, every institution should put in place.
Yeah.
Even the best of EdTechs, adoption of the best of EdTechs is hindered by infrastructure. That has been my biggest challenge, or should I say sad points. I'll not call it pain points, I'll call it sad point in this EdTech journey, because you would have very beautiful solutions, and the barrier to adoption is always availability of digital infrastructure, whether it's in our communities, is in our schools, or just community and schools. And this is what makes people keep asking EdTechs, how are you innovating for inclusion in, let's say, rural areas who do not have these facilities, inclusion for people who don't have computers. It adds to the challenges of startups, because I have a solution. It's quite straightforward. I just need to do ABC. But now I am faced with the challenge of innovating to suit challenges that I am not equipped to solve. I would have to look for extra money, whether it is bootstrapping or just grants. just anything. The challenge is just too much. If a government, I will speak to policymakers. I mean, I'm glad I'm on a news platform. They are educational institutions. They are on top there with our policymakers. They are closer to the government. If every community has a digital infrastructure, let's say a computer lab, growing up, we used to have community libraries. Every library is equipped with functional computer labs. Every school is equipped with that. We wouldn't have problems. It will be easy for Meta School, AI, for Jesse AI, and for QNO to be adopted. So my last words is to policymakers. We are doing all the policies. Yes, as we speak, we are thinking of how to overhaul our basic school curriculum, introduce robotics, coding. It's all good. Where is the infrastructure
Yeah.
to adopt it? So, but 2030, when we return, I want to be able to go to Adakluahunda by the mountains in my village, and then the children there can just hop on JCI, pick a substrand, and read as much as they can. Thank you.
Amazing stuff. That was we'll work hand in hand to make sure that the people in Adaklu are able to realize this vision of yours.
Right. That's my hometown. So.
Right. Let me come to you, Senor. What must happen between now and then to for us to confidently say that African EdTech has come of age?
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with everything Joanna has said. I think us being builders in the space, we know the challenges. I mean, it's tough. You
Yeah.
get it. I think EdTech is the only tech industry where you have to solve for impact, solve for revenue,
Yeah.
solve for so many things at the same time.
Yeah.
You get it. Before you can say that your EdTech product is really working. You
Yeah.
get it. Things around monetization, and it's difficult. I mean, when you look at the numbers, let's even take Africa into context. When we talk about other segments like fintech, like even clean
Agree.
tech now, agri-tech and everything, there's an argument to against agri-tech being a real technology, the thing, but that's a conversation for another day. But then, when you look at investments,
Yeah.
EdTech is always at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's always at the bottom. But we always preach things like we need an educated Africa. We need an educated young population because everybody talks about Africa being the youngest population, the new working, class. I mean, talent coming from the new type of talent coming from Africa. But then how do you expect, all these things to happen if investment isn't really going into education, into technology? You get it? You sneeze and then fintech raises another 10 million.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
every day, and they're building the infrastructure for this and the infrastructure for that. You get it. And you're looking at like people need to be educated to use all these other tech
Yeah.
products.
Yeah.
They do. So why is it that education and technology as a single unit is not getting that type of attention?
Mm.
You see, it's very troubling for me in the sense that are we eventually going to say education is going to be a secondary thing to
Yeah.
everything else?
Mm.
If we're saying, I mean, at this point, I don't really buy into it that AI is going to take all the jobs. But if we're saying that most of these, you know, uh, same process jobs are going to be taken by this, then you're looking at people having to be specialists in something. If we're
Yeah.
going to be building data centers in space, don't we need a lot more talent for things like that? We have to deliver education in a different way. If it's going to be online schools, if assessment is going to be different, if we're going to be supporting teachers differently, investment has to come into these things so that the talent would be there for these
Mm.
other types of jobs that are going to come out of this whole AI Armageddon, if you like to call it. So it surprises me that investment isn't going that way, where a lot of edtech companies have to tweak their business models to at least be sustainable, to survive, or have to look at other things like grant funding, writing proposal for grants,
Yeah.
not really getting equity financing or even considering things like debt and other things where other types of industry players can easily get into these spaces and then raise funding. So at this point, I feel that at this current point, there's so many challenges that we have to solve for as
Yeah.
EdTech builders. But then we can only hope by 2030 that these things will change where we are, and that's one of your jobs where you're really pushing on the solutions in the space, not just in Ghana, but then outside as well, where people see these things and then adopt, but not just adopting, but then are willing to pay
Yeah.
to adopt these things as well, because that's is very important for our sustainability. You get it? Because we can't all be sitting back and then designing these amazing things, and then you put it in front of people, and then they expect it to be free.
Yeah.
When you're moving money digitally from my pocket to another person's pocket, and you see one CD being taken or 10 pesos, you don't mind
Yeah.
because money is being moved. But if I'm
Right.
improving your academic, level, or I'm
Yeah.
improving your academic outcomes,
Mm.
why do you have to fight me on this that you don't want to pay for it?
Mm.
You get it? So I really wish and hope that by 2030, people are conscious of the efforts that the builders on this panel are doing. And I know that by that time, we'll be doing very, very well because we are getting platforms like this to speak on what we're building. But then by 2030, people are paying for our products, be able to raise funding to scale beyond Accra, so many other regions, scale beyond our own borders, and then provide these amazing solutions that we have into other, markets. And the patronage is there without any issues. That's my real vision for 2030. And I hope by, within the next 4 years, if we're to sit on another panel like this,
Yeah.
we are speaking with good, track record,
Yeah.
to show for it.
Yeah.
So that's my hope for the EdTech space, the ecosystem, and then hopefully more disposable income for people who want to
Right.
patronize as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I mean, you're touching on really pertinent things, things that we really do have to pay attention to. Let me come to you, Richard, then we wrap up our conversation. Richard, any thoughts? What does 2030 look like for you? What would you want to be said for EdTech in Ghana and on the continent?
Yeah, I think both my co-panelists have delivered everything. So let me just summarize it. Most important thing is infrastructure. I can't be building my solution and you expect me to provide the internet service to you. It's not my business model.
Yeah.
Oh, by 2030, for me to be able to see EdTech has matured, I want to see that Kingdom has closed at 10 million series area. So, wow, it's fully expanded. I want to see just AI closing 10. Like, we should be able to hear these numbers in our ecosystem that not just the 2 million, 1 million, and it's like you people even raise it have to return the money because they are not being able to scale. It's worrying. So those are the things I want to say. I want to say, oh, Jesse, I calls me one day. Joanna, oh, Richie, we just did a 10 million round. He said, oh, yeah, then I know that, oh, yes. So those are the things I want to see within the industry to be able to say that, oh, yeah, Ghana EdTech or African EdTech has really matured.
Thank you guys so much. This has been a really enjoyable conversation. I really do appreciate the inputs that have been shared. This, like I mentioned again, is the e-learning, the KNUST e-learning celebration week. They have partnered with the Ghana EdTech Alliance to have this session under the topic "From Innovation to Impact: Scaling Homegrown EdTech Solutions for Inclusive Learning in Africa." I've had this really good conversation with Joanna Kwame. She is with Jesse AI. I've had it also with Sanyo Mauli Jiage with QNO EdTech. And then finally with Richard Dodu of Meta School AI. I mean, like I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I think one thing I want to leave with everybody is a mentor of mine mentioned to me that so Ghana and Africa, developing country, developing continent, and we are in what he calls the phase of development. And in the phase of development, the desired outcome that you want is not is very far from where you are currently, right? And in order to achieve that, you need to keep in mind that you are the only one that can put in the work to be able to get there. And one thing I'm happy about with all of the things that you shared is the fact that we need to put our hands on deck. It's us that is going to build Ghana. It's us that is going to build the solutions that is going to transform teaching and learning in Ghana and on the continent. It's us that is going to ensure that our streets are clean. It's us that is going to ensure that we are going to create solutions that we are going to end up exporting to the world for others to use and enjoy and benefit from. And I mean, amidst all the problems, that's what the face of development is. I'm sure if I saw you 10 years ago, you are not the same person. You have put in some intentional work to be able to get to where you are now as an individual. So let's begin to look at it from a country perspective, right? What are some of the things that we can do? What are some of the innovative, creative ideas that we can come up with to put us in a position where we are able to manage and go through this difficult phase of development? Countries across the world, from Singapore to Malaysia to Europe to America, as you know it, they've all gone through this tough process. So when I hear conversations around infrastructure, when I hear conversations around monetization, when I hear conversations around adoption, etc., it's expected. It's where we are at. We are not. We are not. We are not an America, right? But I really do appreciate the conversation we've had today. Thank you so much to the KNUST e-learning week committee group that has put this together. We look forward to having a lot more conversations, sharing with you who these exciting edtech solutions are and the amazing stuff that they're doing in the space. Yeah, if there are any comments, if there are any questions, I'm sure there's time for that. Dylan and the team, is there an opportunity for questions to be asked or comments to be made? So we'll wait a few minutes just to get some feedback. Oh, we're actually live again. I think I've mentioned it throughout the conversation that we are actually live on YouTube. So for the many others who have joined us on YouTube to watch and enjoy the conversation, I hope you have picked up a thing or two. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm getting some feedback from YouTube. I'm hearing interesting panel session from Building Bytes. Claudia Chu mentioned that we had a very insightful conversation. We also had another one from Nefertiti. She says, great conversation. We have one from Hannah as well. She says, these conversations should be had at every level, everywhere. Good job. Keep it going. We really do appreciate the comments that have been shared. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the link with them. Let them enjoy the conversation. Right. I'll take this opportunity to say thank you guys again. Thank you, Senyo. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Richard.
Thank
Abi,
you.
we'll get back to base and continue the work. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Kwame.
All right.
Sure, bye.